When Colin Montgomery says he's made his best ever start to the season, it's time to sit up and take notice. The 7-time European #1 began his quest for Order of Merit win number 8 in a row in earnest in Spain. A little ring rusty, particularly on the greens, 5th place. Then on to Paris and the class of a champion as Monty stepped up a gear and into the top 10 with his first French Open title. And then back across the channel to the Belfry. But next year we play the Ryder Cup. Monty was defending the B&H International Open. More putting problems, but positive vibes. It's not the wins, it's the good finishes when you're not at your best. Tied 5th. And more of the same at the Deutsche Bank SAP. Monty didn't always need the putter, but overall it was a story of the ones that got away. Tied 6th. But then to the West Course, Wentworth, where Monty is king. A 3rd Volvo PGA title in a row, unprecedented. And if he wins this week, and would you bet against it? He'll take his earnings in Europe over the £10 million mark. Just one more landmark for the Monty machine. And his record here at the Forest of Arden is special. 5 events, 2 wins, 3 seconds. We're in the heart of England, not so far from London, and just 15 minutes from the Belfry. And Monty's 2 closest challengers are here. Lee Westwood, who's 3rd in the money list, Darren Clarke, who's top, and the defending champion. Plenty of money on offer, and a race that promises to light up a soggy summer. It's June the 1st, 3 weeks to Midsummer's Day, and we're still waiting for summer to start in England. A view over the Arden course here at the Forest of Arden Hotel, and it's a little miserable. It's cold, it's a bit breezy out there. We've had 1 or 2 fairly heavy showers, 1 or 2 more on the way. The good news is the forecasters assure us at the weekend summer will start, and let's hope that they've got it right. There's the hotel, which is the impressive backdrop, the Marriott Forest of Arden, and an awful lot of the players and officials staying in the hotel. And this is the story of the morning so far. Began at 7:30, and of course the #1 in the Volvo Order of Merit out to post a target ready for Colin Montgomery, who will be featuring the second half of our Day 1 coverage to follow. Clarke out in a feature 3 ball with Lee Westwood and Michael Campbell. 1 or 2 of those will help. He's still the man in control, still well clear at the top of the money list, and even if he wins Lee Westwood or Colin Montgomery, they can't catch him quite this week. Westwood's had a real lucrative 2 weeks, hasn't he? Deutsche Bank title, share of second last week with shots like that. For a man who just over 2 weeks ago was saying, I've lost all motivation, well, he's picking up a little. But the story of the morning has been about Michael Campbell, the man who's #5 in the Order of Merit. And he's been on a real roll. Starting at the 10th, picking up 3 birdies, dropping just the 1 shot in his first 6 holes, also a birdie at 17. A tee shot at one of the feature holes at the Forest, the 18, over 200 yards across the water. Campbell already a 2-time winner on the European Tour, and that would lead to a 2, and he'd be out in 32. 36 the par for both nines, over 7,100 yards. par 72. And so to the first, 384 yards. 3 birdies in a row for the Kiwi. Already the winner of the Australasian Order of Merit, where he broke all kinds of records, won almost $1 million. To the second. Shortish par 4. And again a pinpoint iron, and he would convert that. 4 birdies in a row. And on to the par 5 third. Third shot. 560 yards, not reachable in 2. That'll be 5 birdies in a row, and Campbell has added 2 pars since then. So with 4 holes to play, he's at 7 under, 4 shots clear of Sam Torrance, a Ryder Cup captain, on a limited schedule this year, playing his best golf of the year so far. You can see also Peter Mitchell, Gary Evans and Lee Westwood going well, and Mark McNulty normally likes the sun on his back, but he's also having a tidy first round in this Compass Group English Open. So we're going to be concentrating on Campbell and co, and also taking a look at Sam Torrance, who's playing in the match behind, playing with Anthony Wall and Thomas Bjorn. This is at the 5th hole, and away with tee shot for Sam. Just tangled up in the leaves, and whether he was playing for a well, I think he was just looking to get on and hope, and just came out a little hot. Sam's out in 35. Started birdie, and after last week with 2 tee starts again, Wentworth, everybody was off the first. Westwood off with the waterproofs, it's just getting a little warmer. Breeze has eased as well, and again a superb shot from Westwood. Might have challenged Colin Montgomery a little more closely last week. He couldn't make putts on the final round, but his 3rd round 65 was very special. And of course he's been 3rd a couple of times and 2nd in the last 3 Order of Merit races. This is the defending champion. Darren Clark won this title in fine style last year at Hanbury Manor. 5 iron. Oh, well, it could so easily have popped in the hole, and Clark doesn't lack confidence around this course. He's never finished lower than 4th, and that's a pretty impressive record, and only pales when you put it up against Colin Montgomery, who's played here, what, the 5 times and twice been a winner and 3 times been 2nd. So they do say if you finish in front of Colin Montgomery, you win the tournament, and that's certainly true around here. 5 iron 2 for Campbell. If he gets anywhere near as close as the previous 2, he'll be well happy. Two distinct 9s on this Forest of Arden course, and the back 9 more Parkland. You're going to see that in the second half of our coverage today. This is playing a couple of matches in front. This is Avagina from Barcelona, making a birdie at 7. That takes him to 1 under. Playing with Simon Dyson, who's attracted a lot of interest, and Andrew Raitt. Raitt was 2nd last week in the Challenge Tour, and Dyson sponsored invite here, and because he's won back-to-back in Asia, so a lot of interest in the Walker Cup star, who turned professional shortly afterwards. It's a strong finish on this front 9, the 8th. A par 3, potentially very hazardous, and then probably the hardest hole on the course of the night to come for the players who are playing this course this way round. Plenty of water around the green and over the years. the trees and the bushes have grown up. They played the English Open here for 4 years in a row from 1993, and they also played a couple of British Master tournaments here. And I think they're committed to being here for the next 3 years. New head greenkeeper Ken Mackay. Got the greens in good shape. A little more work perhaps needed on the fairways, but he's taking the longer term view. And today the players are playing preferred lies, partly or more a reflection of the recent wet summer that we've, or the wet start of the summer that we've had. That one just pulled away to the left. He's done that once or twice, Ray, finding a hook at the moment. Well, Sam, you saw his second shot at the fifth go through the green, chip back to here, and that's at bogey 4. Drops him back to -2. Last week at the Volvo PGA, a cast of thousands. I'm afraid you stuck with me most of this week, but I've got 1 or 2 guests lined up to drop in and join me during the course of this English Open. I think skies are clearing a little bit. Prediction, it could be a very fine or much better afternoon. That might suit Monty and Co. And everything's going for Monty at the moment. Even the 2 birdies that Andrew Coulthard and Lee Westwood made on the 18th were to tie Darren Clark. Probably cost Darren £60,000 or so. The difference between sharing second with 2 others and getting the check on your own. You can see Westwood's quite elaborate approach now. Put that putter in front of the ball. Nick Price. There we go. A slight misread perhaps. Didn't borrow the way he anticipated. That's a chance gone. Westwood, who won this title 2 years ago at Hanbury Manor, who took the title last time out. Peter Mitchell going well. First out this morning, starting from the first, and Mitchell 3 under with 1 to play. It's easier to pick up shots if you are finishing the right way round with a couple of par 5s at the 12th and the 17th on the back 9. They're a little more reachable in 2 than the 2 par 5s on this front 9. A little bit of movement from right to left, but not much. Cambo. There's 4 wins in the winter. 2 of the co-sanctioned events are Johnny Walker and the Heineken Classic, big money events, but I think equally as proud of winning the New Zealand Open. There's Maori to do so. Big rugby fan, I suspect, whilst others yesterday in the hotel might have been watching England against Ukraine soccer. He might have been tuned to Scotland against the Barbarians at Murrayfield. This was the approach of Darren Clark to set up this birdie chance. Could easily have gone in for a 2. And already with 1 eagle on the card. That came at 17. He's not had a birdie yet. He's had just the 1 bogey. That was his opening hole, the 10th. At eagle at 17, and this for a first birdie of the day. This will get him to 2 under. What a beautiful putting stroke. Gave a putting lesson to Andrew Coulthard on the eve of the Volvo PGA. And obviously worked for Andrew. Andrew's out with Colin Montgomery and Seve in our feature 3 ball this afternoon. And you get the feeling that Darren's really just starting his season. He won that million, of course, by winning the Anderson Consulting World Championship Match Play event. But he's just getting on a roll. Last week, a little bit rusty with the short game, you felt. But he's still top of the heap. Right, venturing on to the Challenge Tour in Holland last week because he couldn't get a game at Wentworth. Didn't qualify. And he did pretty well to come second on a fearsome day. The winds were blowing around about 75 miles an hour. It was almost impossible to play golf. Sam Torrance carries a little 7-wood. Dealing with the wind to hit that and knock it back. Pin high. This is Ivor's second tilt at the tour. Came through the tour school quite impressively, then didn't keep his card and he's going to go back and start again. I wonder if that's lucky for somebody. It's a bit scraggy, didn't he? He could do with a change in fortune himself. Oh, there's two of them. My fortunes may be changing. Which we can watch now? I'm wanted on the range. Looks very attractive, but you don't want to tread in it on coming up the fairway. Every year they have to cull the Canadian geese. They breed like rabbits, and a few rabbits on the course as well. Deer on the other side. Good save. Nice par for Andy Ray. 1 hole to go. 4 for a round of 71. 3 birdies in a row at 1, 2 and 3. The night holes you'll see a little bit later, just about as tough as they come. We'll be hunting birdies here. He's got the power. He might be able to get thereabouts in 2. Very aggressive on the first putt. So Gina slipping back to level par. Now Michael Campbell.
Very good.
And they're keen golfer Steve Beddow. Made 600 appearances for Coventry City. And, just retired, staying on as a coach. Good golfer. He's a useful cricketer as well. And, keen sportsman. Big connection between Coventry City and he certainly picked the right match to watch this morning. I believe conditions are improving. Spoke to a friend down south a little early and said, yeah, rain had come through and it was brightening up, and that's headed this way. It's been blue skies for Michael Campbell. Course record is 63. 9 under par, set twice by, yeah, you've guessed it, Colin Montgomery, once in an English Open, once in a British Masters here. Here's Gromberg, the South African Open champion. Level par with 3 to play. Gary Orr, having taken that break where his wife produced their firstborn, is now working his way back to his former form. Steve Webster, local man from Coventry. And Ian Garbett from just up the motorway at Yorkshire. Thomas Bjorn, level par with 4 to play. Greg Turner, who's won here before, won a British Masters. And Peter O'Malley, who top 10 finisher last week. Nick O'Hearn, the first round leader at Wentworth. I think most players would be reasonably happy with level par. And of course it's playing very long. It's 7,167 yards, which is not short to start with. Now Anthony Wall at the 6, looking to get to level par. This for birdie. All recovering, and just about recovered now from about a glandular fever, which really knocked him for 6 a couple of years ago. And he had a second attack when he ran about Dubai time, and really knocked him out till about the Spanish. But he's getting stronger by the week, and I would say almost fully fit again now. Playing with Thomas Bjorn and Sam Torrance. Sam a little wayward again, as you saw. The second. Last time he was in this part of the world, the B&H, 3 weeks ago, in his forehead on his car boot. Needed stitches. He's a little accident prone. Thomas Bjorn, who's leading the revival or the upsurge in Danish golf. We've got any number of players on the tour now. And this week at Odense is the Danish Open. That's on the Challenge Tour. It's on the Challenge Tour that Thomas began his pro career, winning that order of merit. He's never looked back. Currently 18th on this year's money list. So many of the players with that left hand below right style now. Thomas, who represents Dubai Creek Golf Club. Wife never in Dubai, they now live in London. Sam's never won this title. He was second behind, must have been Mark James in 1990 at the Belfry. Another shot gone. So 2 bogeys in a row. And the question really, with a tough finish to come, of hanging on to your score. 3 hours hard work just slipping away. So Paul Stevens on the back. Part-time rock and roll singer. Now to the 7th. This will take a little while. If they feel they can get up, they'll have to wait obviously for the green to clear, and they're not rushing. Let's take a look at this hole. You can see distance, that's the motorway, that's the M42. We're very close to the NEC, Birmingham Airport, mainline railway station. It's very easy to get to the Forest of Arden. Probably a little easier to get here than it is to get on this green in 2. But they've got to thread it through that narrow entrance, no more than 10 yards across, or try and fly it all the way. Now, the lie for Darren Clark is not bad, and he's going with the 5 wood. .235 to the flag. Oh, he got a flyer, and then he got a bounce off the thigh. That's a tightest bruise. A bit of good fortune if the lie's good. It's a good break for Darren. Got a flyer. Now, Lee Westwood has got the advantage of being able to place his board on the fairway, because he can get there with a long iron. .233. Three iron, right at it is the distance. Okay, not bad at all. Downwind, and wind just getting up a little. Yeah, he thought it would land a little softer than that. Entitled to think that as well. Just a 4 iron for Michael Campbell. Now if he can get this to stop, and he can. Oh, that's very, very good. It's almost a gimme for eagle, and that would take him if he makes that to 9 under. And the course record now very much in danger. Difference confidence can make. Fabulous year in 1995, and then lost confidence and succession of injuries. It was very, very low, and he's probably spent a couple of years working his way back, getting onto leaderboards, not hanging on, and all came right last winter when he won the Johnny Walker. And when you beat Tiger Woods, you know you're playing well. Took a lot of confidence from that fabulous winter, and although he's been a little quiet in recent weeks, there's no doubting his class. And the race to win the Volvo Order of Merit may not be a 3-legged one. It may be 1 or 2 more involved, including Michael Campbell. I'm hoping to have a Kiwi co-commentator a little later. Mark Williams, many of you will know, down in New Zealand. He's been rules official on the Australasian Tour. He's over here this summer, caddying for Lucas Parsons, and promised to come in tomorrow. Lucas got an early start tomorrow, so Mark is going to come in and just talk about the Kiwis, because I know you're taking these pictures down in New Zealand. And you're going to see a lot of this 9th hole. This is, well, in the opinion of Greg Turner, just about the toughest hole on the course, and maybe one of the toughest par 4s on the entire tour year long. Intimidating drive, water on the right, through a funnel, and usually into wind. It's a very good drive. Not a huge gallery yet, and those who are here are well wrapped up, but they have been treated to some superb golf from these 3, particularly from Michael Campbell. That's the line for Darren Clark, and he might have been better off actually going through. And they tend to leave the collar of rough quite long around the green. If he'd been a bit longer, it might have got a better lie. But he's got plenty of green to work with. And there's Billy Foster already there. Billy Foster had a beard last week. I think that's come off. And Darren looks to be easing up on the cigars. About Gary Orr, he's just made an eagle here, second eagle of the round. He's at 2 under. He's judged that reasonably well. You see how far he's hitting behind to try, almost like a bunker shot in many ways. A slow swing. Played it as well as he could, and it was just in the lap of the godsend. No doubt about it, it's getting up a little more. Lee Westwood didn't have the best of lies, but because it's cut and prepared, he's able to lift and place no nearer the hole, within 6 inches. That's why he's got a decent lie and wise putting. The wind behind at 7, but it's certainly not helping at 8 and 9. Gary Orr talked about his eagle at 7, tee shot at 8. See how the wind's really hurting, and they're a little bit shouted in on the tee. Spent around about £750,000 on the course in drainage, bunkers, maybe adding a length, 1 or 2 new tees. So just a par for Clark, he remains at 2 under. Campbell then for eagle. For a round of maybe 63, it'd be 9 under if he makes this, but 2 very difficult pars to come. Well, there he is, 9 under. His low round on the European Tour is 64. The German Open in 96, and he's very much on target to beat that, of course. And all this while Colin Montgomery is still preparing for his first round. It's going to take a bit of catching, although Montgomery's so good at putting scores into perspective. Only day 1. Westwood for a share of second place, a distance 6 behind Campbell. Went to second with Mitchell and Gary Evans. greenside bunker on the 9th. He's just up a little quick out of that. So he's going to drop a shot at 9. He's not the first and he surely won't be the last. Chance for a 3 for Simon Dyson. On in 35. Struggle coming back. Dropped 2 shots at the 4th and another at 5 and 8, as you saw. And he'll tap that one in for a 74. Only 22. Didn't get his card at the European Tour school, so went out to Asia. The Davidoff Tour got the 2nd card and it's had a really good year. And those 2 wins in McCall and the Volvo China Open means that he get about 5 invites on the European Tour. I think he's going to play at Loch Lomond, maybe the Irish, and certainly in the Volvo Scandinavian Masters, having won that sponsors tournament in China. Andrew Reid, who played down at St George's Hill, fabulous course on the Surrey Stockbroker Belt. Same stable as Gary Evans and 1 or 2 others, Anders Hansen, Brian Davis, Van Phillips. All goes to the Mill Ride Club. Mark James, who's been centre of some attention this week, is book In the Bear Pit, the story of the Ryder Cup, Brookline, has been serialised in one of the national papers, created a lot of headlines, which is why they do it. And Gary Orr won for the first time with a putt of about that length, maybe a bit longer at Penina, to take the Portuguese Open from Phil Price. Is finishing strongly, 3-2 now, he's 3 under. A frustrating finish for Ivo Giner. Brain damage. So 74 for Simon Dyson. He's the nephew of Terry Dyson, a little winger that played in the Tottenham Hotspur double winning side of the early 60s. Beat Leicester City in the cup final, and Uncle Terry scored. The putt for Giner was for birdie, so he's finished at level par 72, as indeed has Andrew Reid. Same tomorrow, should see them through to the weekend. It's not quite entirely respectable rounds of golf. To put them up alongside Michael Campbell's. Campbell's 6 clear 4-way tie now, or joining Mitchell, Evans and Westwood in second. Darren just 1 behind. A round of 71 for Didier de Vogt. And Raymond Russell, who pulled out of the PGA last week with an injury, but I think a lot of players who had no real chance of making the cut and were faced with getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning or whatever in a very disjointed week, decided to end the suffering and regroup, get up here maybe a day early and get some positive thoughts in their heads before teeing off. And it's worked for Raymond Russell. He once had a run, I think something like 8 birdies in a row around this course. I think it was Raymond. Sam Torrance has slipped from 3 under to 1 under. Tony Johnston, a level par 72. Probably a good time to check the South Africans for you. Let's have a look. And our New Zealanders. Let's check the Kiwis first, shall we? 3 in the field. Michael Campbell, you know all about. Greg Turner is level through 13. Stephen Scarhill, who's struggling a little, come off the Challenge Tour. He's halfway round and he's +5, so he's going to have to improve an awful lot if he's to be around for the weekend. The two Zimbabweans, Mark Minotti 2 under, Tony Johnson at level par. He's finished his round. See a ditch there, could be problems for Lee Westwood. Just 2 Danes in the field this week. That's probably a reflection of the fact that it is the Danish Open, and a lot of players will be playing in that back home.
Beautiful shot. Another one to remember today, mate.
Darren Clarke's confidence can go sky high very quickly. He can also get very down on himself. It's an area of the game that he's working at the moment. It's a bit of a struggle for Darren, but I think he's learnt a lot over the last year or so, and probably that walk to the green will help just to calm him down and refocus. Billy Foster will be working hard on that as well. Sam Torrance for an eagle at 7. Oof. Tricky one back for the birdie now. And just masked by the branches, Gary Orr. It's uphill as well as being 470 yards and into the wind, and that's quite a brave line. Ideally you want to be a little left of there to get some sort of view of the green. Anthony's first birdie since the turn, first since 16. Nicely done. Clever par. Best way to end a mini run of 2 bogeys in a row. Third birdie since the turn. 6 of the morning for Sam Torrance. Up and down round. Been a good break for Lee Westwood. He's missed the bush. He's missed the ditch. And the lie's not bad. Not in the hazard. 6 to 1, half a dozen the other could have dropped, but could have been 10 feet past. Should be a 3. And Lee Westwood in good humour. Much easier shot for Darren Clark. He'd love the same result. Lie's not great. Keep coming. Not quite the Tiger Woods effort from Billy Foster. He now clean it. The head professional here at the Marriott Forest of Arden is Kim Thomas, who is sat in this chair from time to time. Indeed, we'll be doing next week at the Wales Open. I think Kim's going to pop in just to give us the expert insider's view on the course changes and the way it's playing. Could he go to 10 under? Confident strike, and oh dear, and that's really gone racing past. I didn't really race past, just slid past and nothing to stop it. Two members of the press in the background. You can see holding the notepad. That's Louis Mayer from the Daily Telegraph. Pretty solid 3, and now a birdie at the last. It's a big if, big ask for a new course record. A par 4 is low round on tour. Clark needing a par at the last for a round of 70. Colin Montgomery say preparing to begin his round it with Sandy Lyles. Good to see Sandy back in Europe. I think he played last week in the PGA, former Open champion, US Masters champion. Playing in America for many years. Second for Gary Orr to 9, his closing hole. He's a big, strong hitter, and that's a very good shot. And he will have a putt for a round of 68.
I'll put it. I'll put it.
Reasonably straight-faced club for 5 iron. Into the wind off the right. Maybe that should have been one more. Enough to reach the front of the green. It could be an awkward stance, and maybe no shot possible for Thomas now. He won't know because he's at Mast. Don't know quite what that one's finished. Now Sam's let that one go on the wind. No, he's actually pushed it as well, allowing for the wind, and if they find one, they'll find the other. Big drive then for Michael Campbell. He must be feeling very confident. Yeah, he's there's no doubt that he's playing very, very well. That's long. That's long. And it's a very simple game for Michael Campbell this morning. Pretty useful bet, low score of this 3-ball. And would have thought Campbell would have started as the outsider of the three, third favourite. Just a decoy. Duck hook. Just shows how long Michael Campbell's hitting it today. With no slouch. Should just drift back into the middle of the fairway on the wind. Again, that's long. 3 players at the peak of their powers, enjoying going about their work. Head on the green, the Gary Orr 3-ball. Mark James leading a birdie for past 72. Mark, who like Sam Torrance, is on a restricted schedule this season. Who's 9th in the money list at the moment. That's a really strong finish from the Scot. 3-2-4 and a round of 69. 2 eagles at 7 and previously at 70. Rishi is faithful caddy. O'Malley. Tied 7th last week at Wentworth. Patrick Sholin's caddy. Patrick's missed a couple of weeks, was back last week, become a father for the first time. Ulrika, his partner and sometime caddy, gave birth to a bouncing boy, Ugo. Congratulations to the Sholin family. The 9th hole, they've actually moved the tee forward about 40 odd yards because of the wind conditions, and that's why it's playing a little easier today. And O'Malley has now made 4 birdies since the turn. He started with an ugly double bogey 6 at 10 and then followed with 8 straight pars out in 38, but he's really picking up on this probably harder 9 of the 2. Anthony Wall at the 8th, assuming that Bjorn and Torrance have recovered. They both push their tee shots away to the right, to the shrubbery. Bit of a race for Rookie of the Year between Alistair Forsyth and Ian Poulter. Alistair Forsyth around a 77 just compiled. He won the MasterCard Tour Order of Merit, which is our sort of PGA Tour for young British pros. And the first year that was the feature of our calendar. It was Anthony Wall who was the winner. And that got him into the qualifying school, and he's been on tour and has got better and better over the last 2 or 3 years. And no surprise when he won in South Africa at Houghton earlier in the year. Well, they may have moved this tee well forward, but it's still the best part of 430 yards, and there's 165 left for Lee Westwood, uphill. Taking no chances there. Andrew Butterfield actually held his second shot at this night, but didn't do him a lot of good. He had a couple of 7s on his card. Having gone out in 44, he came back in 34, around a 78, playing with Forsyth and Massimo Florioli, who returned a level par 72. Percentage shot from Aaron. The one place you don't want to be is at the left of the screen.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a 6 iron for Michael Campbell. 157 yards. Wind, as you can see off the right, hurting slightly. The line is good. Oh, but he's got a putt for a 62 for a new course record. And what a target that will set for Colin Montgomery. Got it on the string. Again, that's a safe shot. Sam Torrance, by the way, got away with a 3 at 8. Thomas Bjorn dropped the shot. Anthony Wall, a long hitter, particularly with his irons. And 56 players. And Colin Montgomery, as you watch now, will be off in about 15 minutes time. This is the best of the morning play, and we will rejoin the coverage. And in real time, Monty will be around about halfway, maybe a little further round his round. Playing just in front of Montgomery, Coulter and Ballesteros, Retief Goosen, Peter Baker, Stephen Alini. Sandy Lyle will be playing just behind with Brian Davis, the Spanish Open champion, and Constantino Rocca. You never know where the challenge will come from on the other side of the course. John Biggerton. Brett Rumford is here, the Australian rookie pro who won on tour as an amateur last winter. He's here on a sponsor's invite. So I'm sure one or two of the lesser known names or newer names will come through. But what a pace is being set by Michael Campbell. I'm sure his form would have been noted by Peter Thompson, captain of the International President's Cup side. This is for a 68, which will be outright second at this early stage. Not an easy putt though. Be very happy to get down in two, and well, quality putt as we saw on the final green at Wentworth when he needed a birdie to tie for second. So that will be a 69, sharing the clubhouse lead with Gary Orr for maybe a minute or two. Quiet opening half, just the one bogey at his first hole, the 10th. Solid stuff coming home. Soft touch from Darren Clark as well. He will tap in for his round of 70. So competent start from Westwood and Clark, but very much overshadowed by the round of Michael Campbell. And the New Zealander now has a putt for 62 for a new course record at the Forest of Arden. And this to come home in 30, having gone out in 32. With the wife and family, a lot of the players are staying at the hotel, and they've got the families with them. As he hit it, all just slides by. So the compensation or the consolation of his low round on the European Tour and a share of the course record with that man Colin Montgomery. 63 for Michael Campbell, and as Colin Montgomery prepares to start his first round, already a stiff target has been set. The lowest round of Michael Campbell's tournament life in Europe. Brilliant start for the Compass Group English Open. So Campbell by 3 from those in the clubhouse, Westwood, Hall and Mitchell. Riera out on the course with 3 to play, a 70 for Darren Clark and Gary Evans, 1 hole to play for Sam Torrance, and likewise for Mark McNulty. The Compass Group English Open is off to a satisfactory start, dominated by Michael Campbell. And some 3 hours later, as you rejoin us, or as I rejoin you really, live from the heart of England, that's still the story. Campbell, the round of the day, and increasingly more likely to stay that way. You can see out on the course, those that were challenged have yet to get onto the first page of the leaderboard. Still breezy out there. It's still a little overcast. It's getting a bit warmer just up the road at Trent Bridge. They are playing cricket after a delayed start. And there you can see that Constantina Rocker and Wayne Riley, two rumbustious characters, are leading the way out on the course. But what news of Colin Montgomery and co? Well, he's playing with Andrew Coulthard and Seve Ballesteros, and you'd have got quite a bit of money if you could predict that after 11 holes that Colin Montgomery will be the worst off of this group. But that's the situation. Seve 1 over, Andrew Coulthard is 1 under, he's all level par, and Monty is +2. And Monty's +2 because he's just before you joined us missed a putt for birdie at this par 5 12. That's Seve saving his par. His third shot went through the green. There was a birdie for Andrew Coulthard. He's gone to -1, but at this moment in time Colin Montgomery is 11 shots behind the leader, and that was not in the script. Got off to a very poor start, dropped the shot the very first hole, couple of pars, then a double bogey at the 4th. And though he's made a couple of birdies since, he's dropped a further shot at the 6th. So just to bring you up to date with the story so far, Sam Torrance, the Ryder Cup captain, out in difficult conditions, pretty chilly. And Sam will be fairly satisfied with his first round 70. Darren Clark at the 17th, par 5, this for eagle 3. And Clark also producing a 2 under par 70. We're playing with Michael Campbell and Lee Westwood, numbers 1 and 3 in the money list. Westwood second to the second. It started at 10. He's out in level par. At the start of a mini charge, back in 33 for a 3 under par 69 for Westwood. But the day has been dominated by one player, Michael Campbell. Again, starting at the 10th, 4 birdies, 1 bogey before he stepped onto the 18th tee. Setting up a birdie 2 out in 32. And Campbell, no slouch, he's 5th in the money list. 2-time winner, already on tour this year. The first he made it 3 birdies in a row. More of the same at the second. That will be 4 birdies on the bounce. Make it 5 at the third, but the best was yet to come. Second shot to the par 5, 7th. A 4-iron, followed by a single putt, eagle 3, and then 2 pars, a round of 63 for Michael Campbell. Playing preferred lie, so won't count as a share of the course record, but Campbell won't mind about that, and that's his signature on the card. Remember, at the Belfry, and happy memories for Porter Carrington and also for Michael Campbell. Hadn't had a good day and he signed all 3 cards inadvertently. This has been a much happier occasion. Westwood, Gary Orr finished strongly. Benno Teleria also with a round of 69, and Mark McNulty playing very nicely for his 69. They're as close as it gets, and I suppose at the moment, if you put Michael Campbell out of your mind, then this is a fairly open tournament. That's perhaps what Colin Montgomery has to do. He's got 3 more days to track down the Kiwi, but has to get himself, at the very least, I think, under par before the end of this first round, or at least to level par, and he's 2 over at the moment and 6 holes to play. This is the 13th. Again, a long par 4, 474 yards. A reasonably generous fairway, trees on either side, and we're on this more mature 9 of the Forest of Arden course. This is in the Deer Park, and they've lengthened it over the years, changed the green a little. Very tight second shot, a green that runs across you. Seve's driving has been a little wayward again, but he's managed to recover in style on occasions. Nothing wrong with that one. Andrew Coulthard, who has the family here, best of the 3 at the moment. Now Costatina Rocca from the back of the 12. Still suffering a little with his putting, but 2 birdies. No drop shots as far as we know. Wretched start to the season and still hasn't found his best form, but he started making a cut or 2, which is progress of a sort. He really gives himself such a handicap with his problems on the putting green. I said a week or 2 ago, if he had a putt for my life, I'd rather it was from 20 feet than 2 feet. You'd have longer to say goodbye. This is the 15th par 3 with many contour green. That was Ricardo Gonzalez there, who I think featured last week in the PGA. He's 1 under at the moment. 2 Gonzalez's on the European Tour. There's Rodolfo as well, no relation. And probably of the 2, Ricardo is considered the better player. First look at Sandy Lyle, 1 over at the moment. 3 bogeys and 2 birdies on his way to an outward half of 37, a couple of pars since then. So perhaps a little early to talk about cuts, but if conditions stay the same, and the forecast for tomorrow is similar to today, with promise of much better things to come at the weekend. So I suppose +1, +2 maybe would be the cut. So the likes of Sandy +1 and Seve Ballesteros on the same mark. Plenty of incentive to keep chugging away. 3 drives on this 13th down the middle of the fairway. Not surprisingly, Colin Montgomery the longest. Seve won the, well, he was the first winner of this English Open. It was first played in 1979 at the Belfry. Won most things in his time, but it's been a year or two now, and well, we do see him most weeks struggling. I sometimes wonder, such a charismatic figure, I suppose, that people do still want to see him play. You can see the crowds that are out. This is very much the star 3 ball of the afternoon, but sometimes if we could just leave Seve in amongst the pack, really, going about his business. 2 good rounds last week at Wentworth to make the cut, and then 2 very indifferent rounds on Sunday and Monday to finish last of those who played all 4. Yeah, and let away with, and this time the crowd saw it coming and let it through. He got a bit of a rebound. It's a very difficult shot back now. No green to play with. Maybe the wind fooling him. We keep getting these wind figures 5 or 6 miles an hour. I don't know what level above sea level that's being taken, because the wind seemed a little stronger than that to me. Certainly the evidence of the way players progressing would support that theory. So a bit puzzled by it all. $179 yards to the pin for Andrew Coltart. Difficult to judge the wind because you've got these big trees scattered around. Black looks fairly calm. 5 iron, which he doesn't like, and again that's maybe gone on the wind, and again, unless you're Phil Mickelson, it's going to be a very difficult shot. That second place, share of second place last week behind Colin Montgomery was just about Andrew Coltart's biggest paycheck of his career. It was £150,000 for Monty. Now he should have learned. He likes to hold it up left to right into the wind if he can. Even Monty has gone a fraction left. He looks, in all things considered, he looks in reasonable temper. To 15, Gonzalez for his par. And if you're under par, you're playing very well. Michael Campbell's round has slightly distorted the way that we read this first day. 9 under is a fantastic round when you consider that, you know, the closest is 3 under, and a lot of players struggling to get under par. This week will suit anybody that can fly the ball a long way. It's not suited for those who hit it and expect it and hope for it to run. Brian Davis, a lot stronger this year, made a point during the winter of improving his fitness and strength. Winner of the Spanish Open, one of 9 first-time winners on tour this year. Sandy Lar, who still has a home, I believe, up in Scotland, lost his playing privileges on the American tour and relies on invitations, so we may be seeing a little more of him in Europe. There's a very deliberate pause and then slight change of gear at the top of the backswing. Well, if it gets him that far out and that straight, then don't knock it. Always felt that Sandy Lyle's power started to decline when he had to think about the game. It was such a natural game for him growing up on a golf course. Not so far away from here, probably about 60 miles, Hawkstone Park. And Seve, of course, another natural player, self-taught. Although Sandy was taught by his dad, who was the professional for so many years at Hawkstone. Much will depend on the lie for this one. Well, I'm hearing from the course that the lie's not bad. You won't be able to pitch it on the green itself, perhaps on the fringe, just between the long stuff and the actual putting green, just to kill it a little. Well, he came in a little lower than I thought he might do. More elevation for Andrew Coulthard, the same result. Greens will have dried, though we had some rain this morning. It's been pretty breezy and dry since, so the greens will have dried out quite a bit. This 13th in the match ahead cost Peter Baker a double bogey 6. He's at 2 over. Stephen Leaney, who was going along very well indeed. Double 12, dropped a shot here at 13. He's +2, and Retty Goosen, who many people fancied to do well, made a par here, but he's still +3. So all the big names are struggling this afternoon. And what he needs to make something happen, Ju, is take a birdie against the head. This would do. Really the pace on that, and he's almost up before it stopped. So he won the English Open and the British Masters here, and the other 3 times he played been second, losing once in a playoff to Philip Wharton. All the times pipped by Greg Turner in the British Masters and Robert Allenby in the English Open. Andrew Coulthard, who finished tied 5th in this tournament last year. That was played on the northern outskirts or the northern side of London at Marriott Hanbury Manor. Coulthard back to level. Again, an excellent up and down, and so he stays at +1. Still one ahead of Colin Montgomery. who he beat, of course, in the Seve Trophy at Sunningdale, so he may feel that he has the Indian sign on Europe's #1. There's a leaderboard with a bit of a difference. Michael Campbell, the leader, and there you can see those on the course who are trying to jostle for position. Only 2 in the top 10, Riley and Rocker. Brian Davis going along pretty nicely, and David Howe's found a bit of form recently, as has Peter Fowler this year. Dean Robertson, David Lynn are level par with 3 to play. David Park, David Carter going along fairly nicely. Roger Davis, who's had such a good tournament at the French Open. He had a chance becoming the oldest winner on tour. And Brett Rumford, the new rookie Australian pro, his first invite over here, and he was given the starting time in the last group on this first round, and he's made a steady start. Of course, Michael Campbell must be feeling fairly confident. There was a time not so long ago when you thought you wouldn't have worried too much about Michael Campbell being 9 over, because you don't want his mind games, and he'd come back to the rest of the field. But of course he's got that confidence now, and who knows. Derek Cooper with a sponsored invite. Lucas Parsons, who's caddy Mark Williams, will be joining me for a spell tomorrow, so we'll get that sort of caddy's perspective of the course. Justin Rose needs to make a cut or two now, as indeed does Henny Otto. 448 yards. You can hear the breeze as I'm hearing, but it feels and sounds a little stronger than 5 or 6 miles an hour. So we're trying to hit the high fade, keep it in play, which is not a shot that he thought he would ever have to play, but there it is, it's working. Costantino, who had a fabulous decade in the 90s, struggling at the start of the new century, 145th on the money list at the moment. Andrew Coulter hasn't made a par on this back nine so far, 2 birdies, 2 bogeys. Up on the green there, Stephen Leaney with a putt for par. As I say, was going so well to the turn in 35. That 7 at 12 rocked his chances. Finished tied 3rd at Hanbury Manor in the English Open last year. Quality player. Performance so far this year in the Heineken Classic, where he was runner-up to Michael Campbell. The shot of Rocker was recorded. He should make that, but I wouldn't give it to him. Well, it's so many magic moments in the 90s as well. The putt hole through the Valley of Sin to force a playoff in the Open at St Andrews, the win over Tiger Woods, the hole in one at Oak Hill. I suppose if you were picking a top 10 of famous shots, Sandy's second to Augusta's 18th out of the bunker when he won the US Masters would probably be right up there with the best of them. Stays at 1 over par. Don't know if it will ever happen. An awful lot of people would love to see him win a tournament of note again. Wrapped up in his own world as Brian Davis goes for birdie. Davis, whose parents own a florist in Enfield, which is North London, and he owns part of the business, and he was going to invest a section of his Spanish Open winnings in the business. His mum and dad have done so much for him. He's trying to help them a little bit now. Doesn't want them getting up in the early hours. Dad off them down to New Covent Garden. A lot of keen golf followers there. Follow the European Tour. Just unrecognisable from the disconsolate figure in Qatar a couple of months ago. Let's say that Colin Montgomery's unrecognisable from a couple of days ago. Wind's helping, getting up a little bit. It's a 6-iron. Just 20 players under par in the tournament at the moment, and Brian Davis remains one of them.
$144.
This 7-iron. Monty may have hit a 3-wood off the tee. Oh, that's a beauty. Well, he's still capable of producing some wonderful strokes, mostly with the irons and around the greens. And the more he manages to keep the ball on the fairway off the tee, the better his chances. So Seve will have a putt to get back to level. Water plays a big part in the finish here at the Forest of Arden. There's a little pond to come over at 16 where we find Gonzalez. Water short and right of the 17th, and there's water to be carried on the par 3 closing hole. The tap-in will keep The Argentinian at level par. Costantino made his 4 at 13, as did Sandy Lyle, Brian Davis, as you saw. Here's the story of Costantino's season. Greens in regulation, not brilliant, but not disastrous. And then moving on to putts. Well, that's really where the decline has come. You have to be below 30 to be competitive, and 31.2 is at least a couple too many around. Not much between Coulthard and Montgomery. Montgomery just furthest away. These two played together, of course, on Monday at Wentworth. Also, former winning Scottish teammates in the Alfred Dunhill Cup. No real feel for that. We're told it is 28 putt of the day. Where are we? 14. So at best 29. Looks like he's headed for another of those 35 putt days, which well, you just can't compete these days. We amateurs always used to think, well, 2 putts a hole is fine, but pros, unless they get below 30, they're just not in the picture. Coulthard will have an idea on pace. Knows he's got to hit it a bit harder than Monty did. Oh, Cardinal sim ready. Online, well short, didn't learn. Better news for Relative Goosen, who's picked up a shot here at 14. He made a 3, playing just ahead, so he's back to just 2 over now. A little bit of sunshine, as haven't seen too many shadows in England this summer so far. Seve for birdie. Been the strength of his game. Ironically, that's what makes this game so fascinating or frustrating, whichever way you look at it. It didn't seem, whatever level you are, if one department is on song, so often another department is slightly lacking. Care and attention from Monty.
Keep still, please.
First pass since the term for Cotard. Here with his wife and lovely baby daughter. Now, Brian Davis pushed his tee shot at 14. Just a question of lie, which doesn't look too bad. You can see the ball, and he's just wondering if that tree comes into play at all. It shouldn't do. In fact, his line is an old, almost dead tree behind the green as we pan back. Might have to keep it a little low just to avoid the overhanging branches. Andrew Alcorn around a 72, and that included a 2-shot penalty when he turned up on the first tee and discovered he had 15 clubs in the bag. So then, right shoulder coming in late, it's characteristic of Costantino's swing. Just on the green, but not a sort of putt that he really enjoys. A little lucky. This is the 6 iron at 15 for Colin Montgomery. Wind is helping, and how good is that? Oh. There is a prize of a golden scrumpy apple, or £10,000 in cash, but I think that's just for a 1 at 18.
Make this hole that way. I don't, I'm walking in.
But he doesn't. Seve's lost that way to the right again. No. That one just went on the wind. And that's no gimme for Monty, is it? He may live to regret his words. Let this one slide on the wind. 6 iron for Andrew Coulthard, and well, this time the roles reversed, and Andrew Coulthard will be showing Colin Montgomery the line. Even less excuse then for missing it. Way t'other side of that hill, the city of Coventry, and Michael Campbell probably either on the range or with the family, enjoying some of the leisure facilities, maybe feet up watching the golf on the local television. He leads by 6 from Westwood, from Orr, from Teleria, McNulty, and Peter Mitchell, who was first out this morning. Good round from Sam Torrance, no damage done for Darren Clark, and Chris Hall is a local qualifier from the Midland region of the PGA, and local man Steve Webster. Never won on tour. Wonder if this could be the week it would be. If he's in contention, that would boost the crowds at the weekend, coming from just down the road in Coventry. Reminder, we're playing preferred lies. A bit of thatch in the fairways, and that's a longer term plan to get those into A1 condition. Not bad by any means. Not bad, but he's left himself one of those, which is why he's not looking completely overjoyed. Well, mini miracle time once again for Seve. And you can see how they let the rough in close grow a little longer for these tournament pros than they might do for you or I. And if the grass is still a little wet, easy for the club head to snag. Using that beautiful into the wind, you could almost see it stop as the wind picked it up. And no surprise that Monty and Coulthard were playing close attention. Can always learn from the maestro of the short game. Now Davis having a slice of good fortune with his second. Well, here was the tee shot for Colin Montgomery. So it was a 6 iron. Right, the pin had a real chance of going in. And probably, in all truth, slid by it a little further than he realised. So this one has to go in. Oh, good, he's still in the tournament. I think he put a bit of pressure on himself. I'm going to walk in if I don't hold it. He's made it. He's back to just 1 over. And at the moment looks fairly relaxed. It's possibly that he knows he's not striking the ball as well as he can, and he's more comfortable with the score than if he were playing well and not getting his reward. That's a great up and down by Seve for history as well. No great pleasure to predict that was always going to happen. And it's so tough to take this first drop shot. The putter at fault, really. Still going along quite well, but these things can dwell on the mind. And there's a few choice Italian words going through the mind at the moment. Turning back into the breeze. Fierce dogleg from left to right. You can't really cut anything off, and that's okay. Tricky second shot now with water short and left. See how on the practice swing Seve maintains his height, almost dips a little on the actual swing as he starts down. As he doesn't really get the weight off the right hand side, and the body comes through, and there's the destructive shot that he's been trying to avoid, and well, it's in the real thick stuff. And the only bit of good news with such a gallery here, they may find it, but even with so many people looking, it may be big trouble. Just watch the way that Andrew Coulthard maintains his height and gets the weight from right to left on the downswing. Yeah, you see it? Everything going forward. Ball going straight. I wonder if Seve was tempted to play a provisional. Is this 16th? No percentage in trying to cut the dogleg. You just hit up into round about here, and then you turn to face the green. There's that pond, which depending on where they put the pin plays a part, and during the course of the 4 days you'll see 1 or 2 balls in the water. No bunkers. Ryan Davis also dropped a shot at 14, but Sandy Lar picked up a birdie 3 and is back to level par. There's the course plan. You can see that 2 distinct 9s. The 9 we're seeing now, 10 to 18 in the old Deer Park, and a rather newer front 9, and the wind will be helping at 17 and 18, maybe a little off the left hand side, but certainly 17th par 5 should be reachable in 2. And if anything, we'll be helping slightly with the second shot on 16, helping with this tee shot at 15. Not as much as Brian Davis supposed. Now Ricardo Gonzalez has duly made the 17th in 2, and he's got this putt for an eagle 3. If he makes it, we'll get him 1 under. Playing with Dean Robertson, who's also level par. Greg Owen, who played so well here 2 years ago in the British Masters and got himself, well, kept his card ready as a result of his top 10 finish. And he's 7 over, having a poor day. Seve's found his ball. I'll tell you if he's, I think he's found his ball, hasn't he? Now, there is water around, and I wonder if he's looking for casual water. They've found the ball. It is very wet. Can he get relief? If he got relief, where would he take it?
Okay.
What's so funny about it?
There's nothing funny.
Huh?
Nothing funny.
Just
Where's the nearest dry point, Seve?
here.
He may get a drop. Yeah, Monty is not an expert on the rule. He doesn't know quite as much as he thinks he does. And Seve knows everything.
That's the only place. Yeah.
And the only place is sort of on that perfect lie. It's the only place. Perfect line. I can make it to the green, and Monty's going, I've never been that lucky.
Don't dig, you will find petrol there. Agree? Yeah. Go ahead. All right. Where's the ball?
There's his ball. Goodness, he's got a free drop out of the Lost City. Oh, goodness sake. All perfectly legal, but all very lucky. Now don't blush when you hit it on the green. Yeah. Drop it gingerly. Not bad. Well, John Paramore, if he's watching, may want a little look at that, but I don't think anything is untoward or outside the rules has happened at Monty's. I'd be interested to be a mind reader to know what Monty's thinking. Well, when you it's sometimes painful following Seve Ballesteros, but it's never dull. I think he may have to, he's a long way back, so he may have to lay up short the water and pitch and putt for his par.
To reach the water, Seve.
How far is from there to the...
It's 40 to the front of the green from the water.
There's no spot there or anything, we just play as a guess.
I'm just telling you, no, I'm just telling you, to reach the water is 152.
Okay, don't worry about the water, we need the full shot there. Don't worry about the water.
You think only on fire.
Alright, just need the full shot.
Well, just about to join me in commentary is a head professional from Forest of Arden, Kim Thomas. Get your cans on it. You'll enjoy this. Seve, this is Seve in full flow. He's hit it way left on the 16th into a complete unplayable in that thick stuff. Claimed casual water. He's got the drop and the only dry spot for miles around. And his caddy saying, well, it's so far to lay up short the water. And Seve's thinking, well, what can I hit to hit over the water? It's vintage Seve, because you see that to the left there. That's where the ball was. Welcome, Kim. Say Seve's never dull, is he?
Absolutely not. He hasn't changed in the last 6 months, as he's still moving it left, right, and who knows where. He's gone into the very, of course, worst position he could do on 16, which is the big sharp dog leg right. And, well, must have 180 yards from there, Steve, with a little pond of water in front of the green as well.
I think he's been a bit unlucky here. Could have dropped it a little better. It's not quite sitting up as much as he would have wanted. Here we go.
He couldn't have done much better there, really, because he leaves himself a long enough shot to get some spin on it, too. Look at that pin placement today.
Well, Kim's normally, well, it's quite often in this box. You're in here next week, aren't you, for the Wales Open as a proud Welshman, but you've got other duties, head professional at the Forest of Arden. Busy time for you?
Certainly is. It's the start now, of course, of the corporate golf season. A lot of visitors coming to the Forest of Arden for their jollies and their corporate days out. So it all starts after this week finishes.
So in a way, is this week a bit of a lull before the storm for you?
It is in many ways, although of course we have an academy running alongside the practice tee this week for all spectators coming along for some free tuition this week. So quite busy in that respect, but you're right, Steve, a lull before the corporate storm begins.
Andrew Coulthard then. Long wait before playing his second to 16. Oh, the right hand came off very quickly. He's held the follow through. Water in play, and oh, he just got over there.
It's a very interesting hole, this 16th. It's not a long par 4 by any means, but it really gives these players some trouble because it's a very cheeky little par 4 hole. I always say, but the first 2 rounds there are generally more bogeys than birdies here.
Yeah, the course, I mean, mustn't be deflected by that round of 63 from Michael Campbell. Quite special, because when you get the next best score, 3 under, and what is it, only about 20 players at the moment, well, 24 players are under par at the moment out of 156. That puts the test that you presented here at the Forest of Arden into a clearer perspective.
Yes, you put it very well, Steve, as usual. Just 20 or so players under par, and one of them, what, 6 shots clear now?
Yeah.
Quite tremendous.
And this man's one of those who over par. There's a rare occurrence. He's got a 7-iron in, and he may not be over par for much longer. The last hit, I don't know if you saw his tee shot. The last he hit it, almost hold it, and he said, "Well, I don't hold that. I'm walking in." He was a pretty relieved man. I should think so. With the sponsors, pretty relieved to see him make it. I don't think he would have carried out his threat, but you never know. Oh dear, he went into 3 putt on the last, and more putting woes for poor old Costantino Rocca. So I did a company day down at Woburn a couple of weeks ago, and Monty and Peter Senior were there with Costantino Rocca. We just watched Gonzalez tee shot at 18.
Absolute picture of rhythm, this man. Beautiful to watch. See how long he took over the backswing there. Just superb. Model lesson in rhythm.
Getting back to Woburn, where we hear the new Marquis course, which is quite superb, being confirmed that they will play the British Masters there next year. Was some thought that they might play this year, but just a little too early. The course is very, very good, but in a year's time it will be absolutely perfect. And that Rocker story, there were 3 of them, and they were doing a clinic for the invited guest of Cannon after playing a 9-hole exhibition, and I had to compare that. So Monty, you're front of the clubhouse doing iron play. Peter, you're back of the pro shop doing bunker play, and Costy, someone's got a sense of humour. You're on the putting green, and I said, if any of you can help him.
Steve, you love it, don't you?
Well, so did Costy. He saw the funny side, and well, let's say if you had a 20-foot, you'd rather have a 20-foot putt for your life than a 2-foot, because you'd have longer to say goodbye. Seve third shot. This is a cast iron 4. You just know he's going to make 4.
Yeah, he's got a shelf green here, but he really isn't far away, 50, 60 paces or so, and there's a bit of green behind the flag, so if he really gets some bite, he can get some action on this one.
Oh, Seve. Now that is water, but it's not casual. Another ball. Tin cup. So 1, 2, 3, 4, playing 5.
Notice there, Steve, you flew that in a lot higher trajectory. It should have been that first time, I suggest.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, real mistake, really unusual for Seve. I think when he gets that close to his green, his worries are all behind him.
I must say, I find it astounding still that he's able to keep his nerve on the short game when his long game really is struggling.
Well, he still draws the crowds, doesn't he? There's that round of Campbell. And that apart, it's a very close affair at the top of the leaderboard. You can see all these players who are under par. Rocker was 200 at one stage, so was Riley. Raymond Russell, a round of 71. Wasn't he the guy, I was trying to think a year or two ago, was it 8 birdies in a row did he have?
He did. He lipped out on the par 5 7th for an eagle as well. 8 birdies in a row in the first round, and then I think took a treble at the 9th. I think shot 64 or 65 in the first round.
That's right, I remember it well. you happy with the course? I mean, I was just looking at it and thinking, well, it's not bad considering the summer that we've had, and also this is a corporate venue, isn't it? And you know, you can't just close the course when you've got targets to meet, budgets to set.
That's right, the pressures of a head greenkeeper on a course like this are quite immense. Kenny Mackay has been here for 6 months now, just about, and he's doing a fantastic job, particularly with the greens. Getting a lot more consistency on the greens, which is what the players always ask for.
Coulthard then looking for his birdie. I think he'd be happy to get down in 2. It's a fast putt, and you're never quite sure, are you?
No, that's right. That's the ground that Seve could have used with his wedge, I thought. But it's a slinky putt down there, and a cheeky little pin placement today on that 16th, that's for sure. Good old Kenny.
Well, you're going to have 1 or 2, this being the European Tour, haven't you? Not to make it too easy.
No, it's one of the joys of this hole. I mean, it's one of my favourite holes on here. It's stroke index 3 for the members, and for under 400 yards, that's really very unusual. They used to have a small stand behind here for the British Masters, and it really was pure theatre to watch players come into this green.
Just if you can hear some rustling, I'm in some photographs taken here, because I'm going to raise my profile. So what better than to watch? Oh, sorry, I moved. Got Stephen Mundy in here for All Sport, and Steve and I go back a long way. I was covering non-league football, and he was taking photographs of it in the Reading area. Now we meet up in various parts of the world as Colin Montgomery finds a bit of form. That's 2 in a row. He's got himself back to level par. You know, and even when he's playing badly, he's special.
He certainly is, and you're saying Stephen Mundy there has got to go a long way back to get you in these days in the photograph, hasn't he, Steve?
Well, there's not so much of me as there used to be, you see. That's why he's here. But I think he was in New Zealand. We'll get viewers down in New Zealand. I think Stephen enjoyed his time. He went around the World Yacht Race, wasn't he? Yeah, he nodded.
You were saying there a couple of nice birdies there for Monty, though, Steve. 2 and 3 on 15 and 16. Actually waking up. I think he must be a very tired man.
Well, yeah, a couple of early starts, wasn't it? Last week it was a long week, but he was saying you're not tired when you're winning. You're tired when you're second, which was just a little dig at the likes of Coulthard, Westwood, and Clark, who'd finished second. Just a little psychological blow, and Andrew drops a shot there. So he slips back to 1 over now, and suddenly, as you might expect, Colin Montgomery's the low man in this group of 3. Stephen Leaney at 17.
Another awkward pin placement on the left side today. Not for Stephen, obviously.
No, I want revenge on the par 5s, having taken 7 and 12. Dropped a shot at 13, 3 pars since then. Seve for his 6.
On this lower frontier here, not a lot of borrow. Might be aiming down the right side, got to be careful.
Well, he was up. He thought he'd missed that. Well, a 6 is probably what he deserved, and you know, he'd gone out of jail and then gave himself up.
Gonzalez right up the slope here at 18, flag back right today. Quite a friendly placement actually. You can get at the flag quite easily off the tee. There's the challenge, the worm's eye view for Rocker at 16.
Very nice sweater you're wearing, the Marriott Forest of Arden Hotel and Country Club.
No, you can't have one.
Well, you and Murray's got one next door.
You can't have one.
Give them one to Sky. And we've got an audience with. All right.
Go and have your size, sir.
Dean Robertson holding out at golf course whose name escapes me. 71 from Dino. Good round. Ryan Davis, who dropped another shot at 15, 2 in a row. Sandy Lau also carded a bogey, so they're both at 1 over. It was a 3 for Costantina.
This guy's absolutely in the mould, isn't he, of these Argentinians?
Is that really Kashmir?
You can't have one.
Monty at 17. He'll be looking to make it 3 birdies in a row here, no doubt about it. Over the years, this has been a very good hole for Colin Montgomery. I know he lost a playoff, I think it was on this one too, Philip Walton, but when if you pluses and minuses, he's ahead.
I'm sure you may have told the viewer, Steve, that the story of Monty in his last round in '97. Come back to that in a second.
No, I didn't actually. Actually, it's the viewers.
Must be raining today then.
He's wearing one of those sweaters.
Now in the old days, this would absolutely suit Seve down to the ground. Rip her round the corner, right to left. Give himself a chance for a good second shot in here.
Well, everybody's got a theory. I just think the difference between his practice swing and his real swing, he seems not to get his weight off the right side. He just almost loses a bit of height through the ball.
Yes, and we all love to have our theories about it, as you say, Stephen. Well, for me, the fault's always been in the early part of the swing for Seve, but with the inspiration and the beautiful timing and wonderful hands in his earlier years, it made up for it, and he still played wayward shots, remember, in those early years, a lot of them. But his powers of escape were fantastic.
Well, my observations really, it is just a visual observation when you sort of put it and compare it with someone like Andrew Coulthard, who's a lot smoother from the top of the backswing. But anyway, Seve entertains us, but now has a struggle perhaps to make the cut. He's 3 over now, and 12 shots behind the leader, Michael Campbell. He's still commanding lead. He has a chance tomorrow maybe to put a lot of daylight between himself and the rest of the field, but he will be playing with Darren Clark and Lee Westwood, and I'm sure they'll come after him.
Yes, and the difference these days, of course, he's a winner, isn't he? Big time, and he won't let that lead slip if he has a big round tomorrow.
No, I'm saying there was a time when people wouldn't have worried too much about it. I said, well, Michael's going to have a bad round, he's going to come back to us, but you can't bank on that now. It's Anthony Wall with a level par round. It worked hard for that, as indeed did Andrew Rate and Ivo Giner.
Yeah, the Monty story from '97, Stephen, if we go back to that one, was he did say before his last round started, I must shoot 63 to win this. Went out and shot 32 in the front nine and finished 3-2 on 17 and 18.
He likes to do that. He was saying at Wentworth, I think, 69 I need, and he even had to 2-putt the last for a 69. Could easily have been a 68, and that would have ruined the story. And, he likes to be first, and he likes to be right.
Yes, he came through with that 63, of course, but his calculations weren't quite correct because he lost out by 1 to the man Turner.
Difficult for Costantina to leave that one short, but he has.
He's one of these players rather like Seve, isn't he? Everyone wants to see him play well because he has such charisma. And even playing badly on the tour is better than packing polystyrene boxes.
Well, never having packed polystyrene, I don't know.
Yeah,
Actually, I did once for a day. In a warehouse. It's a game of I'm not going to do that.
Mr. Rocker knows what it's all about, though. He's been there, hasn't he?
Yep.
Lovely man. Lovely man.
Bobby George. That's what they call him. He looks like a dart player, and that's his nickname on tour. Is Brian? He likes a bit of a gold around the old neck and the wrists. Certainly had a golden season.
had a good run at the German Open a couple of years back, Steve. You and I were covering that at Schloss Nippenberg, if you remember.
Splish, splash, slosh, Nippenberg.
Was it ever?
Was it wet? Makes England look like drought conditions the last couple of weeks.
That was a great week for Garrido.
Seve say, well, who's to go? Well, we're hearing from the course that it should be Seve, but Monty's at Argo. If he can finish with 3 or 4 birdies on the last 3 or 4 holes, he's going to take a few positives out of a round that started very poorly. This one looks very good indeed, and is.
Much more straightforward route there than Seve's got. Seve's well right, and have the water, there it is, on the right side, in his way.
Seve has no doubt about it, the hardest shot that water comes into play. He has to be very sure that he can make the carry.
Yes, and there's no real bailout area, because if you go left to be safe, it's a bit smelly over there with some very wet stuff, and that awkward bunker to carry for your third shot as well.
Got 2 courses here, haven't you? Is the other one open for play during the week?
Not this week, no. It's well, half of it is a car park at the moment.
That could be a worry if it got really wet.
Yes, that's the Aylesford course, named after Lord Aylesford, who is our landlord here. Can't believe that, he's gone left.
He was trying to play safe. You can see what he's trying to do, open up the green, and calculated on missing the fairway.
No, it's a shame too, because he's getting much spin from that lie there.
252, so presume Coulthard laying up as well.
It's quite funny, Steve. We were making a video for our members the other day on options from dropping from water. And we'll get back to that.
Brian Davis feeling the call of nature either that, or he's oh dear. Great golfer, good putter, good driver, can't read.
Bit of a ladies' man, though.
He will be. We may never see him again.
Yes, I was saying one of my professionals then showing the options. He took a drop from behind the water and then promptly holed it on video. Superb.
Wearing one of those sweaters, was he?
He was.
Yeah.
Look where he smelled on him.
Now the goose. Needs that putt for a 73. Hasn't quite been at his best this year.
No, it's unusual, isn't it? Great year last year. Both him and Ernie Els not really firing. Maybe their minds on other things.
Cost he safely made his 4 at 16. Wins the prize for highest tee shot of the afternoon.
Yeah, reference your conversation earlier on, Stephen. The course closes 2 weeks before the event for final preparation and a bit of a rest, obviously. It's full steam ahead from next Monday.
When you leave to go and commentate on the well, you're a smart boy. Well, he may be getting on a bit, but hearing is still sensitive. the wind to drift that back towards the flag.
Famous Westerners Island, of course, on the right hand side off the green there at 17. Just on the right hand side of the picture there. There's another story.
Now he waded out. Or did he get a lift on the rowing boat?
No, he waded in, waist deep. Got on the island, found about 27 balls, and including his own, and then holed it. Actually, that's not true. He tucked it on the green and holed the birdie putt. He made a good birdie out of that from the island. Nearly got penalised for slow play.
Looking up and onwards to must be Birmingham over there. Not bad crowds today. I mean, the weather's fine. I should think you're hoping for a lot of people here at the weekend.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The early morning rain or overnight rains put some people off, but the sun's just coming out now, so the weather forecast is improving over the next couple of days.
Grego in the round of 79. Team Robertson at 72. They were playing with Ricardo Gonzalez. Eric Cooper is 75. Scott Rowe 73. The third member of that trio, Ola Eliasson, pulling out after 10 holes.
Steve, I understand you're an acquaintance of our general manager here at the hotel, Heiko Figge.
Yeah. How do you say his name again?
I'll try again. Heiko Figge.
Heiko. Yeah, he's a Reading fan. There aren't many of us. Well, actually, quite a few. But yeah, I saw him down at the Manchester Medeski Stadium. He said, "Are you coming up?" He said, "I'll look after you." I'm sure he said, "I'll give you a sweater if you come up." Basically. That's going to be 3 in a row for Colin Montgomery, and we'll get him under the card for the first time, and that's just 8 shots behind Michael Campbell with 3 rounds to go. Doesn't sound quite so many.
No, and when we know what he can do around here, I mean, he's never finished worse than second here at the Forest of Arden as Big Monty.
Fantastic record, isn't it? As you say, finish ahead of Monty, you win the tournament. That's been true here 3 times. Robert Allenby, Greg Turner, and in a playoff, Philip Walton. The only men to best him.
Well, he hits that lovely high shot, which is soft stopping with any club, you know, and it's ideally suited to these Forest of Arden greens, which are very often shelves.
I assume Monty's staying in the hotel, isn't he?
Certainly is.
Yeah, he did last before he stayed.
Yeah, the tour reserved for 80 or 90 rooms for the week.
And a few suites. Just bobbling a little. I think your greenkeeper has left quite a bit of grass. You've got a good, reasonably even surface, but I mean, they have been drying out during the day.
Yeah, it's a trade-off: consistency versus cut height, if you like. Punchy worker there from Rocker. That's nice.
Scores. Bear in mind that if conditions are about the same tomorrow, we would think the cut would be in the region of 2 over par.
Yes, I was talking to Darren Clark earlier on this week, and he said that wind's up, very wet. What do you think? I said maybe 10 under for the tournament. Who knows?
Well, you would say that was spot on if it wasn't for Michael Campbell.
Exactly.
For Seve, you still might get 1 or 2 takers at 10 under. Davies, who's the coach. He's American. Pops over to Florida. He's got his girlfriend over there. That's another reason for going.
Mr. Ritson, I believe.
I think it's one of his associates. I think it's Mr. Ritson's daughter.
Has he held it off too much? Yep.
Telltale ripples.
It's such a good hazard because it eats into the front of the green so well and everything falls down that way.
Now Stephen leaning for a round of 73, an adventurous 73 at that.
He's got Andrew Vance Phillips' old caddy, isn't he? Stephen Leaney.
Has he?
The fish.
The fish. One or two of those on tour. And over the teeth. Also finishing with a 3 for a round of 74. There's that hole in one prize. It's Grumpy Jack cider. Let's see, with a special award and £10,000. I thought it was it's a gold Scrumpy apple. And £10,000 as well, and it's been claimed. Well, the prize hasn't been claimed, but there have been holes in one here in the past. A couple. Did Ian Pyman have one once?
I believe a chap called Tim Cassells. Is that one of the
Craig Cassells.
Craig Cassells? Is it? Yeah.
He's from Newcastle, but he's one of the Scottish band.
That was in the Murphys a few years ago. He won 10,000 pints of Murphys or something.
That's right. Well, the tournament, the English Open, used to be sponsored by an Irish stout. And of course, Murphys, they now sponsor the Irish Open, and we'll be off to Ballybunion this year, new venue, over on the west coast. 2 weeks in Ireland, following week at the K Club for the Smurfit European Open.
Steve, I really like the way Tim Barter's worked on Andy Coulthard's swing. Have you mentioned it already?
Yeah,
today?
well,
Excuse me,
not today, no, but I had Hutchie with me last week, and he was waxing lyrical. He used to have a sort of movement at the top of his backswing. I mean, you know, you're a teaching pro and PGA member, but he's a lot smoother the whole swing.
Yeah, the swing plane, backswing and downswing is so much more consistent. It's a swing of the club now on the backswing as opposed to a placing action. I think it'll result in him hitting the ball a little further as well eventually.
Well, he's working on that as well in terms of body strength and his diet and trying to put on a bit of weight.
African marigolds, in case you're wondering.
Coulthard and Montgomery hit 4 irons. This is a 3 for Seve.
Different wind from yesterday. Mr. Peter Mitchell hitting 5-iron in here yesterday, late yesterday afternoon. And he's not a long hitter either.
Watching this morning, and Steve Beddow from Coventry City was out there watching. You have an affinity with the local football club here at the Forest?
Yes, we do. They're corporate members here at the Forest. They have a stand at the Tented Village this week as well. Very good friends of ours, Gordon Strachan and co.
New stadium. They actually started that yet? I mean, it's not going to be that far away.
No, they haven't started it yet, but a lot of good things happening for Coventry City.
Yeah, members of the English Premiership, and I think the new stadium with 45,000 capacity, retractable roof, and it's going to be real state of the art.
Having Gloria Gaynor as their mascot next year.
What?
Don't you remember her song, I Will Survive?
Well, they did more than that. I mean, all they need to do is to start picking up 3 or 4 points away during the course of a season.
Eternally in the bottom 3 of the Premiership. I shouldn't say that, should I? They're
No,
good friends of
they
ours,
were the
but
escape artists, and this year was come to. I actually saw them over Christmas against the Arsenal 3-2.
Yeah.
Coventry, cracking game, and they looked at, well, they were known as for a spell as the entertainers. They were at home. They were playing some superb football.
Yeah, for a while there, they had vertigo in the middle of the season. They were so far up the table.
Wayne Riley, who's a Chelsea fan. Johan Skold, who had the hole-in-one. He won was it the hole-in-one? He won a Lancia car, I think, in Germany. I was telling Hutchie last week about the corporate day I played in when they had a Skoda for nearest the pin. It was one with a shot that was only 340 yards away.
You don't want to score the joke, do you, Steve?
No.
Tell me you don't want to score the joke.
Don't start.
Just the one then. Skoda full of food.
It's a larder.
Yes.
There's the Compass Group hospitality units. Our sponsors are one of the biggest caterers in the world. I think they employ something like 75,000 people worldwide, which is a lot of sandwiches. And the best known, I suppose, on the official caterers through Payne and Gunter to the European tour, and that's where the connections evolved from. And this is their second year of sponsors. I think at least another 2 years to run.
It is, and the managing director of Whitbread PLC, of course, who control the Marriott hotels in the UK, Alan Parker, here last night talking to Tony Rustenberg of Compass Group and saying what a wonderful alliance it is. A couple of great professionals in the hospitality field teaming up for this English Open.
Same again. So Seve hoping to get up and down for a round of 75. It's a disappointing finish really. Got out in 37. You thought with a couple of par fives on the back nine he might just have been able to turn that into a 71, 72.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Stephen, but I think we all talk about Seve playing badly these days. But I do believe last week he had a couple of reasonable rounds that went worth.
Well, he
the
did
first
to
two
make
rounds.
the cut, and then 81 players made the cut. And where did Seve finish? 81st. It was a shame because he worked so hard to get himself into a reasonable position. I think it was something like 2 under at the halfway stage. Not badly placed at all.
Yeah, I think it was 70, 72 or something. Yeah. Just an uphill pitch here from just off the second cut.
Pretty good touch, and the Partial almost would have conceded that to Seve, but the wind makes it just a little more interesting, comes into the equation.
We sometimes allow the corporate dayers to tee off this championship tee on their corporate days during the year, and it's a real thrill for them because all of a sudden the water's in view.
Well, Monty doesn't want to drop a shot here. Oh, a little 1 minute. Remember the 7th in the final round at the PGA. He seemed in reasonably good humour, but things were bothering around. Someone moved, and you almost felt he was going to chip and two putt. Mind you, came back with a beautiful birdie at the 8th.
Very sharp descent there from that fluffy lie. Lovely soft hands though. Beautiful.
Yeah, took the glove off for more feel, perhaps. Costy's got this one for par. Wayward tee shot. That was a more positive strike. Not happy in a way. Well, that can go in. Why did the others miss? line on this one, Kim? You've had this about a time or two.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get this close. Right to left, I think, uphill, and then up to the top of the crest there. Levels off about here.
Go on. Nice finish. Good call. So Andrew Coulthard tidies up his card, a round of 72, level par. And 9 shots off the lead, but only 3 shots off second place.
Yeah, very good finish. Always very satisfying getting a 2 here on this kind of signature hole.
You get out and play much?
3 or 4 times a month these days, Steve. Not very much really. Too busy looking after golf to start playing it.
That's right, because your members want the best prices in the world. They want you to just cure them instantly. And you just go out and knock it around in 65. Don't ask much. 107. You can do everything except the 65. Occasionally you have to settle for a 67. I know. That's a 75 for Seve. Ragged on the back 9. That's 6 at 16, which an adventurous hole.
Mr. Sheringham.
Yeah, he's staying at United. He played in the Pro-Am yesterday, didn't he? Played with Harry Kewell from Leeds United in one of the teams. Ian Botham was playing with Michael Slater, the Australian Test batsman, or former Australian Test batsman, and Liam Botham, his son, who's off to South Africa with the England rugby party in the not too distant future. And Colin Montgomery played with Harry Kewell. He's a big Leeds fan, is Monty, and he's finished well. He's got it back in 33, and that again is the performance of a champion. 3 over after 4 holes, and really not playing very well at all, and still under par. To say, just 8 behind, and with 54 holes to go, still very much in this tournament. There he is, second now in the Volvo Order of Merit. He's cut down Darren Clark's lead, which seemed almost insurmountable, and he was saying in Dubai, you know, I'm looking at a calendar, not a money list. And as we watch that strange backswing of Sandy Lars now, but he's just coming off a birdie at 17, so he's 1 over.
Yes, he's the only player that's ever managed successfully to be able to do that with his swing, to keep it in check. It's the only way really of setting the club at the right angle at the top of the backswing, and it's quite extraordinary. Very hard to actually do on purpose.
Well, Gordon Brand Sr., he used to do it. He wasn't aware they did it. People told him he's not doing that. And Bob May on occasions looked to do that to a lesser extent.
Different swing here, late hands. Very late.
Right shoulder hanging on. Still going away to the right.
Yeah, too late, and that's why the shoulder was in front. Didn't catch up in time. Such a nice positive strike, this man, and you say that about all the players I know, but gives it a good rifle, this guy, Davis. Anything, his aggression sometimes lets him down. Not necessarily his mental aggression, but the swing aggression. Just gets a little bold sometimes. Oh, here's the setting action of Sandy Lyle. Simple enough address position. Gets it to the wrist break point here. Holds it. I mean, we haven't suspended the film because there it is. Hardly a full swing, but he keeps it under control better because of it. I wonder what his dad would have made of that one.
Well, again, I was venturing the thought that the game became a little harder for Sandy when he had to start thinking about it. Just grew up and without just hearing a golf ball and took it for granted that he was playing so well.
Yes, and very much the case that we were saying with Seve Ballesteros in many ways. When he thinks about the swing too much, it's far too complicated.
Not a great day for Colin Montgomery by his standards, which is so high anyway, and particularly around the Forest of Arden, but there he is in a tie of 15th place, and certainly 2 shots off second. and it's fairly crowded. Apart from Michael Campbell, it's a day that has seen a lot of players just jostling for position and no one making a really big move. So even at this early stage, the destiny of the tournament in the hands of Michael Campbell. But a long way to go, and there will be twists and turns, and you can bet one thing is for sure: players will either catch him or get very close from time to time.
Yeah, Tony Johnston there, he just saw a level par. He was saying to me yesterday that he thinks his 3-wood's going to be hot all day because he's using it so many times for his second shots.
Yeah, it's reminds a bit of the game I had with Hutchie last week, and we were saying, Hutchie, you and I are both the same. We carry long irons for no apparent reason. Mark James, who a lot of publicity this week over his book, which is it doesn't pull any punches. I'm actually going to get a copy because he won't give me one. A bit like you and the sweater, really. Yeah. But I'm going to pay for the book. I think it will be a cracking read. He's Retief Goosen with a round of 74. Ian Hutchins, likewise, the story of the South Africans. Roger Chapman's having a good season. It's a great shame with that. I'm just thinking, because we had the photographer from Golf World, Golf Monthly magazine in here, great photo opportunity, and sadly I wasn't wearing the Forest of Arden sweater, but never mind.
Just thinking it's getting rather warm in here. I must take my sweater off in a minute.
Yeah, I think the Reading shirt will go down very well in the blue and white hoops.
You look like a weather forecast.
Highs and lows. Breeze has been consistent all day, but a little bit of blue sky now. So we'll be able to use the wind just to check this one.
Yeah, it's still awkward though, Steve. He's coming slightly up to the green edge and hasn't got that much to play with, but you're right, the breeze is helping the shot.
Sandy influenced by Costantino's shot.
Yeah, you saw it roll on and a stunted little push in there from Sandy. I don't think he quite caught it as he wanted to.
So just the personal preference. I love your back nine here through the Deer Park. And, 7 and 8 are very strong holes. The rest of the front nine are a little open. Did you ever have the option of a bit more of the Deer Park to put other holes in?
No, we were looking at that option over the last couple of years. Obviously, a lot depends on the landlords. There's not a lot of ground out there with trees on it on that other side of the land. But you're right. The first part of the course is on what used to be some farmland.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not being critical. It's just by comparison with what is a very strong, very scenic and attractive back nine.
Yeah, the players often say that it's like the true spirit of the forest because it really is ancient forest with ferns that look very attractive, particularly later in the year, September-wise, and it's a lovely place to be.
And crowd well wrapped up and just staying to see our feature groups through. Playing in 3-ball behind. David Carter's 1 under, coming to 17. Lucas Parsons +3 and Van Phillips +5. This is for a 71. That again rather when he saw the way it almost jumped off the club face. Another suffering round.
Yes, I'll be very interested to see whether the tour ask Kenny Mackay to trim the greens a little lower the last couple of days if the conditions allow. If it dries up a little.
What height are they at the moment?
Well, they're down at 4 mil, but they're playing a little faster than that. But of course, by the end of the day, they just get a little bubbly. If it dries up, we can cut them down just a little bit more.
I have to say that wasn't Sandy's finest ever putt. 74. It's a rather forlorn, frustrated figure. So, but still held in great affection by golfing public around the world, and particularly back here in Britain. You see, and you've won Opens, you've won Majors, you've won the US Masters, and you're still trying your socks off, and he's very disappointed with his score today.
Yes, he is, and throughout all the years, Sandy's remained a very straightforward and honest guy. No side at all.
There's Brian Davis with his 3 for a 74. Had it going, didn't he, with 4 birdies in a row? The 72 level par for Costantino Rocca.
Yeah, Davis birdied the 9th, which is some birdie 3.
Well, they have moved the tee forward today.
Yes, but my own friend Alan always says there's 3 good shots to get up in 2 at the 9th.
Well, here's the story of part of the day. Strange day for Colin Montgomery, really. He set out knowing that Michael Campbell posted a score of 9 under. He was 4 over after, or 3 over after 4, then started to get going on the back 9. Putting problems persisted, and indeed when this one nearly went in, Monty threatened, but don't hold that, I'm walking in. He made it all the way round. This morning, Sam Torrance, who will be Monty's Ryder Cup captain at the Belfry in just over a year, on his way to around a 70, not playing so much this year, but playing well today. Darren Clark, Europe's current number 1. And that's why. And really his season is just getting going now. He's getting down to work and guarding that top dog spot. His good friend and stablemate Lee Westwood is in 3rd, and this morning they played together. Clark 70, Westwood 69. But it's the 3rd member of that trio who will be grabbing the headlines tomorrow. Michael Campbell. 2 wins already. No slouch himself. 5th in the money list at the moment. Tee shot at 18, his 9th hole. Setting up a 2 out in 32. He'd make it 3 birdies in a row with a 3 at the first. Four on the spin. Par 5 third, he would make it 5 birdies consecutively. But his finest shot of an excellent round at the 7th. His 16th, another par 5, a 4 iron. Eagle 3. And 2 pars to close. A round of 63 for Michael Campbell, his lowest round on the European Tour. And a comfortable 6-shot advantage over Westwood, Gary Orr. Teleria, the Frenchman, Mark Minotti from Zimbabwe. And if Campbell maintains anything like his first round form, he's going to take a lot of catching. Peter Mitchell was out first this morning, took full advantage, best of the greens. David Lim will have his supporters from not so far up the road at Stoke-on-Trent. And Darren Clark tucked in alongside Sam Torrance. Steve Webster from Coventry also going well. And Brett Rumford with 6 to play. Might sneak second place on his own, the man who won as an amateur in the winter on the Australasian Tour. Monty there, sharing 14, 71. He will be higher tomorrow. Bank on it. That's bringing to a close, or close to a close, our coverage of the first round action from the Marriott Forest of Arden in this Compass Group. I don't know if you want to... Thanks for your company, Kim. You'll be wanting to pop along now, and before the shop shuts, get me my sweater.
That'd be a special delivery, I'm afraid, Steve. You have to get a bigger van for you.
It will certainly be recorded.
My pleasure, Steve. Nice to see you again. Thank you.
Right, back on the course, David Howes had a good week. David Carter with 2 to play. He's at 1 under. And Peter Fowler, who lost his way for a few seasons on the European Tour, back and playing pretty well. Well, here is Carter. His closing hole. Made a par at 17. So many players have been pushing their tee shots away to the right. I don't know if it's shouted on that tee. They know the wind's there, but they're never quite sure how hard it's going to be. And it's blowing an awful lot of players away to the right. We've seen very few on the left-hand side. There's a view of the Marriott Hotel, which is the centrepiece of this 2-course complex. And the top of your picture, you can see the lake that they come over for. There's the 18th green, just going out of your top right-hand screen. Practice putting green down there as well, and inside the hotel, every leisure facility that you could ever need. View there of the 18th green, grandstand behind. We've got 1 or 2 excellent spots for a bit of fishing. Just in the distance, that's the M6 motorway, which goes pretty close to the course. The M42 also is not far away, so it's an easy location to get to from just about anywhere in the country. About an hour and a half up from London, and about half an hour from Birmingham's International Airport. Campbell has dominated this day, leading by 6, but should he slip, well, there's plenty of quality on the leaderboard looking to take advantage. Nice to see Chris Hall up there, one of the regional qualifiers, having his day in the sun. The other New Zealanders, or the other Kiwis, Greg Turner 73, Stephen Scahill 74, and Elliot Bolt 76. Just for you down in South Africa. Henny Otto's 1 over with 3 to play. Rounds of 74 for Ian Hutchins and Retief Goosen, and 77 for Roger Vessels. David Carter was all ready to play there, and then realised it might not be his turn. Indeed, it's Lucas Parsons who doesn't feel the cold. Winner of the Greg Norman, 2-year, effectively a 3-year exemption. Rest of this season and the next 2 years on the European Tour, so he's over here for the duration. Just coming off when he had got his score for 17, but he had a double bogey 6 at 16. He's 3 over, and as I speak, confirmation he made par at 17, so he's still 3 over. Well, the scenario for tomorrow is that Colin Montgomery will be out early. He's on the tee at 20 past 8 in the morning local time, and he, by the time Michael Campbell sets out on his second round, Monty will plan to be a lot closer and maybe just putting a bit of pressure on the Kiwi. There's no doubt that Campbell will have the chance to really take a grip of this tournament. Van Phillips hasn't had a birdie in the round. unless that, well, it won't go in. So 5 over a day to forget. This might just about be our last action of the day. Let's hope that we finish on a high and David Carter makes this one for par. Carter, who tied third in the English Open, the first Compass Group English Open at Hanbury Manor last year. And that's a finish of a 4, and it will be a level par 72. So no doubt that the first round of the Compass Group English Open has belonged to Michael Campbell. Can Colin Montgomery close the gap tomorrow? Hope you can join me. Till then, from me, Steve Beddow. Goodbye.